I'm basically going to come from a practitioner standpoint and how we implemented eICVIs at the Equity Livestock Market in Wisconsin, and it's a little intimidating here as a practitioner. I know a lot of you guys have been out in practice, and it's sitting with a room full of state veterinarians. You guys know all the sins we've committed over the years. So, and I think all of us have done that. So anyways, basically I'm going to give you a background of our practice. I'm from Lena Veterinary Clinic. We're located in Northwest Illinois, and we serve Northwest Illinois and Southwest Wisconsin. We're an 8-man practice, pretty diverse practice. Basically, six of us do dairy, beef. We have one small animal veterinarian. One of us does about 50% swine, 50% equine, and we serve 2 sale barns. One's in Illinois, just a basic dairy replacement barn, and the other one's in Wisconsin. So basically, we serve. My talk's basically going to center around how we implemented eICVIs at the Equity Livestock Market in Monroe, and this is just a picture of the Equity. So, and basically, this is the just a typical back tag, and this is our main identification source that we use at the markets. Basically, we live and die based on this number in our group. So, it's just a picture of the loading, unloading facilities. This is still a relatively small. There's a lot of fifth wheel trucks and trailers, very limited semis, typically 20, 30 head lots generally. So, and this is just inside of the facility. Basically, we have a chute facility that Equity's done very well. They provide us a good chute facility, and the people at Equity have really helped us implement this. They do a very good job of identifying cattle coming in and out. The sale barn's only about 3-4 miles north of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. So basically about 50% of the cattle are Illinois, Wisconsin. You get a few Iowa cattle, even a few Indiana cattle. So we draw from a fairly diverse thing. So they do a very good job of all the Illinois heifers coming in the sale barn are tagged prior to the sale. And they do an excellent job of doing that for us. And this is basically just kind of representing a group of cattle at a feeder sale. Basically, there's 10 head of cattle in here, and we got one back tag for those 10 head. So, you know, instead of that's basically the key. We have to rely on that one back tag. We got to rely on that back tag to stay on that calf for identification purposes. So, that's one of the challenges we face at the livestock markets. So, and this is just a close-up picture of that same back tag. So, I'm just going to go through basically a history of our involvement with Equity. Basically, Equity Livestock, basically it's a co-op of 13 livestock barns. They're throughout Wisconsin, and they have one livestock barn in Iowa. They have a corporate office in Baraboo, Wisconsin. So, and our clinic started doing work at Equity Livestock just at the Monroe sale barn in 2004. So, a typical sales schedule is they have 2 we call bucket calf, basically cull cows and fat cattle sales per week. And then they have 2 to 3 feeder calf sales per month, and then like a sheep and goat sale per month. So it's a pretty diverse sale barn, and we don't use eICVIs on the sheep and goat sale. Just there's some some issues there with mixed species, but pretty well we use eICVIs on everything else. So, this is kind of the typical CVI volume on basically per sale. Basically, we write 10 to 12 CVIs per calf sale. That's twice a week, so we're about 20 to 24 per week. Feeder sales, 30 to 40 per sale. It just depends on the sale. And the sheep and goat sale, 6 to 8. So, and basically we went back, since we implemented our eICVIs, we've written over 2,800 CVIs just for Equity Sale Barn, basically a little over 18 months time frame. So And I'll kind of go through here why we started using eICVIs and kind of our whole plan. Basically, prior to August of 2010, we did just the old paper CVIs. Basically, they were completed after the sale. Pretty well the cattle were all gone, and we basically mailed the CVIs to the buyers. This was just long-standing tradition, and the buyers they'd check out and take their slip to the back and load cattle up, and they were gone. Buyers typically at sale barns, they really don't think too much of CVIs or health papers. That's the last thing they really care about. And basically, August 2010, our world kind of got turned upside down. State of Wisconsin came in. The rules have always been in place that cattle moving across state lines needed accompanying a health paper accompanying the shipment, and they decided that they were going to enforce the rules. And basically, they came in, about 3 or 4 people from the state office came in and came into equity and gave us like about a 1 to 2 day notice and said everything from this point on needs a health paper before they even load cattle. So, it was a little bit of a shock to us, but we knew that maybe the rules were maybe not totally met to the letter of the law. But basically, the buyers, it put them in total shock. So, we basically, it was basically a big disruption to their routine. It created a huge bottleneck during the checkout for the consignees, basically to the delay it took us time to complete the CVIs. It required us to provide more extra personnel to complete these CVIs, and also, and immediately, there was customer complaints, basically. So you got to understand that part of the bottleneck was created was we didn't get the information from the sale barns. They would print this information out on the checkout sheet, and then they'd hand it to our personnel, and then we had to start the health paper at that point. And basically the buyers, they didn't want to wait around 10, 15 minutes. When they were done, they wanted to get in their trucks and leave to head home. So it was a tense period for us. So basically, Lena Vet Clinic staff and along with equity management, we decided we wanted to investigate electronic CVIs because we wanted to streamline the process. And basically our personnel, they said, if we have to write 30 to 40 CVIs here, we're going to have hand cramps and all this stuff, and it's just going to be it's going to be a lot of pressure on them, and it created a lot of pressure on our staff that were doing it. And so we needed to streamline the process, increase the completion speed, and then decrease the buyer's wait at checkout time. And that was, they were basically, equity was getting a lot of pressure from the buyers, long-time buyers that were there continuously. They were calling corporate office up in Baraboo, complaining about this whole process. So basically we started, but we had some issues to overcome. The sale barn's basically along a state highway, about 3-4 miles out of town. Internet access was very limited. We had I think they had a dial-up service, which was very, very slow, and so we had issues with internet access. And at that time, equity, their internet access was basically to the corporate office. That was the only internet access they had, and they were kind of questioning us. Well, what do you guys need internet access for? So we worked that out. Computer system, like I said, they would print off basically a buyer's what he purchased and then hand it to us, and we had to complete the CVI. And we said we needed that as the sale went on. We needed that information because we knew at that time, we could start health papers, and we knew which cattle had to be on those health papers as the sale was going on, not at the end. So we needed computer system access, and we needed a printer to print off a copy for we needed access to a printer. So, and I do have to say, equity felt the same pressures we did. They wanted happy buyers. We wanted happy customers too. and we both sat down collaboratively and worked this out and tried to overcome some of these issues. So in August of 2010, like I said, we investigated some of the things, and we decided to implement the USDA's VSPS system. We were currently at that time, state of Wisconsin, it was costing us $3.50 for each paper CVI, blank one, and being typical practitioners, we tried to squeeze every penny we could. So, and at that time, the VSPS system was free system, and we felt at that time the USDA, we figured, you know, they're the drivers here. They've got a huge vested interest in this whole program, and we decided that we would they would be on the edge. We knew there were some other companies out there that had electronic CVIs, so we stepped forward and we embarked on the VSPS system. So we basically went in, we purchased a laptop for our staff, and we provided extra personnel, basically provided an extra person to sit in the office and gather this information and put in on the laptop. Like I said, initially, internet access was extremely slow at the sale barn, and customer complaints continued just to the delay in checkout. And there were some issues, and I think even the current system we have on the electronic CVIs, there's no perfect system out there. We were kind of taking they're not really geared, they're geared for maybe farm to farm, but markets are kind of a unique animal out there. So so we had some challenges yet ahead of us. So we tried a few things. We investigated a wireless modem to increase the speed. Basically, you know, kind of like your wireless modem through the cell phone service. We did note some improvement, but we still received customer complaints due to the delays. And part of the delays was the internet, and part of it was nothing against the VSPS system. It was just kind of a cumbersome thing. We could only start one paper at a time and then close it out. And our tech could explain it a little better than I can. There was some issues there. So basically, Equity came to us and said, we're still receiving complaints. You know, we have unhappy customers, and we need to do something. And they said, you guys want to investigate a for-profit system. So they encouraged us to look at some other eCVIs, and I think they had talked to Global Vet Link at that time, and basically we decided in November of 2010 to switch to Global Vet Link. So, and then also at that time, Equity they also installed I think HughesNet or similar satellite internet access at the sale barn, and granted us full access to the internet. So, and so that, you know, there's a couple things there that I think speeded up the process, and so basically since 2010, basically I think part of it was, yeah, we reduced the wait time considerably for the buyers, and basically customer satisfaction's increased considerably. You know, I think there's a combination thing. There's always a kind of a buy-in here. You know, there was a training period basically from August. It was kind of an abrupt thing for the thing, so I think, you know, there was the buyers basically kind of got accustomed to planning ahead. They knew ahead of time that there was going to be a little bit of a wait, and so there was a training period there, so that was probably part of it too. But right now, it's just anymore. It's just kind of a thing, you know. Well, I got to wait for my health paper, but we've decreased that wait to maybe five minutes or so. They need to wait. Where typically before it was anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. And if any of you guys, a lot of you have probably been in markets before. I mean, it seems like they all decide to check out at one time, you know. I mean, and so the first one to the window to check out is the first one of the health paper. So it's kind of a mad rush. But we've decreased, probably cut it in half, if not decreased it considerably, maybe 5-minute wait anymore. So that's pretty dark. Can you guys see that? Or is it my angle? Basically, this is just a picture of our technician. We got a laptop on the right, and then she has basically the access to Equity's computer system. And that's basically, she can go down through there. That's an Illinois buyer. it's a Wisconsin livestock barn. She can go through there and determine which lots of cattle need to go on the CVI, and she's already forming that before, as the sale's going on. First cattle sold, she can start creating CVIs and have them ready, and then she can add to those CVIs as the sale progresses. So, and this is just a kind of a screen from the Global Vet Link. This is just basically off our laptop, so she's got full access to it. Now we do have, there's 7 doctors that are signed up for Global Vet Link. We all serve the sale barn, different periods, different times, so we can all go up there. So we're all signed on to the program, and we all have different sign-in IDs and different electronic signatures with that program. So, and this is just typical. This is from our sale, and I think 20th of March, oh, the 16th of March. I'm sorry. Basically, this is an Iowa buyer. Basically, you got the group number there with the back tags and several groups. There's actually 3 pages of this health paper. We've got 2 on here, and down here in the lower right-hand corner is just my electronic signature with my license number. As you can tell, I think the preceding speakers had mentioned that legibility is a big thing here. So, especially when you're doing 30-40 under pressure, it seems like your legibility just goes out the window, basically. So we have, just on a side note, we have utilized them in equine. My partner that does quite a bit of equine, he's used them quite a bit and really enjoys them. And like I said, I do some swine work myself, and I've used them pretty well. We have off-site swine facilities that I can just electronically, we just email them to the sites. We know the shipments in a given week. Email them to the sites, and they have them on hand, and they can go with the truck then. So, anyways, I just want to thank my partner and staff at the Lena Vet Clinic, Equity Livestock. They're very good to work with in this whole procedure. Global Vet Link and Global Vet Link and NIA to invite me to come out to here, and then my family too. So.